Hey guys, I'm Strados, and this is your step-by-step guide to standing up a PixARK server. So, first thing you want to do is you'll open up your directory. You can do this on your desktop, but for the purposes of the step-by-guide, the guide that I will, from the forum that I will place in the description, we just kind of create this in the C directory. So that's where I'm at currently right now on this computer. This is not my local desktop. This is a laptop hosted elsewhere within my network. I'm using TeamViewer currently right now to kind of get to it and do my thing on it. But look, so we're in the C directory. You can see I have an ARC server kind of set there. We do have a Steam command that I use for that, and I use it generally for a few other things. But we're going to cover downloading that Steam command, getting that installed. So the first thing you want to do, go ahead and right click and go, new folder. And we'll call this capital Pix and then lowercase arc, just for my saying this. I don't know why, but kind of a weird name there. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and just do PixARK Server, all caps, and then S on servers capitalized. You can do whatever you want. But anyways. So we're in there now, and we're going to go ahead and create another new folder, and this will be our Steam command folder. So we'll just go ahead and call it, oops, if I can spell right, Steamcmd, there we go. So that's our Steam command folder inside the PixARK server. So we'll go ahead, and now that we're in there, you want to go to your browser. I've got Chrome. You type in Steam command. This should be the first thing you pop up for you there. You'll go ahead and open on this. So right click. You can click on it. I like to open a new tab. I've already got it open up here. And you'll come to this page. So we're doing this on Windows. They have guides for doing on Linux or a Macs. But we'll go ahead and go down here to the Windows here. Basically, it just tells you to create the folder. We have that. And of course, they give you an example of putting that directly on your C drive as well. Again, you can put it anywhere you want. It's just you got to make sure you have the paths lined up that you need. And then you just kind of click on this for the download link. I've already downloaded this before, but we'll go ahead, open it up. There's our Steamcmd. Go ahead and minimize that. And then just go ahead and copy that up there. And that's how we get the Steam command. And then from here, you'll just go ahead and double click on it. It should pop up with the window. There we go. And it's going to go ahead and download and extract everything that it needs for standing up the server. All right, so looks like it's done. Go ahead and type quit. Then I'll close it out. Okay, so I didn't think to add this in the video, but before the next step, you want to make sure that you go to your control panel on Windows 10, which this is where I'm creating the server on. You want to go to File, Explorer Options. It's also called Folder Options, I think, on some of the older versions. But you want to go ahead and open this up, and that when you get in here, it'll give you bunch of different options. You'll want to go to is the View tab at the top, and then you'll see there's a couple different checkboxes here. You can go through and look. There's one for hidden files or folders. But really what you're going to look at here is this one that says hide extensions for known file types. Make sure that is unchecked, and that'll allow you to see the extension at the end of the file name when you go to rename it, where you can change the file from .text to a .bat. So hopefully this helps, and now we'll get to the next step of showing how to create a bat file. So now the next thing to do is we'll do a right click. Oops, I'm in the window. All right, right click, go to new. You want to do a new text document. And we'll go ahead and delete this and rename it. We'll just say update PixARK, and we'll separate this here, server. All right, so oops, so I messed up there. This is the server file, or the one we're going to use for updating, but it has a .txt at the end, which is not what we want. We want to change that to a .bat. Yes, I know. change the file extension. So now it changes icon from a little text document to this. Click on it, it's not really going to do anything because we haven't put anything in there yet. So you can use any notepad editor you want. I prefer to use Notepad++. So we'll go ahead and hit edit with Notepad. So this is going to be our update file. And let's see here. I've already got one kind of created here. Here we go. And for the purpose of this, I'm just going to kind of copy it and I'll paste it in here. There we go. Alright. Anyways, to kind of go over this real quick. So this is a different text file I have on the desktop. This is your, you want to put echo off, that's fine. You want to start out with start and then leave a space there, and then this next part will be the path that you will place Steamcmd.exe. So this one actually points on mine to a different, so we'll have to fix that real quick. But then you got login plus login, and then on the guide it says to put in your own username and password here. I would recommend using anonymous. It makes things a lot easier and you don't have to put in your password. I think there might be an issue with two-factor when you put in your login and password, but don't hold me to that. And then you want to have your force install directory, and then this is the directory that we're going to be installing. So I'm not calling it PixARK, or sorry, I am, but it's PixARK Server, capital S, lowercase, and then update. So we have to go through and fix this. But anyways, so that's the path. Then we have plus app underscore update space, and then the app code, and then validate. Now a lot of guides will also put a plus quit at the end here, and this will automatically close out when you run the update file, but I don't want to do that. I like to have it I don't want it to close automatically in case I need to troubleshoot something. So anyways, I leave the plus quit off. But this is the app code you'll want for the PixARK server. It is 824360. So we'll go in here and we have to update this because this is not the directory that it's in. Actually, Steamcmd I think is correct, but it's also nested inside the PixARK server directory. Go ahead and update that. PixARK server. This is all good. Anonymous is in there. C directory, PixARK server, and we'll just go ahead and double check that. So we'll go here. So, and best way to actually, you don't even have to really check. You can actually just copy and paste this and put this into this here. But yeah, PixARK, all caps, and rematch. And then for the Steamcmd, same thing. You can kind of double check, or you can just copy this and replace this right here. But we're all good here. So we've got all lowercase Steamcmd for the folder directory and PixARK server. So we're good on that. And then go ahead and save. Go ahead and minimize this. So where'd it go? Here we go. And then rerun. So this will take, I think with the first time run, it can take anywhere between 10 minutes. It can take up to an hour. It all depends on your internet speed. So I'll go ahead and pause this, and after it's done validating and downloading, which will take a while, as you can see, it's only at, within the few, 60 seconds it's done, it's already downloading up to 4%. So I will return once it is finished. So the app finished installing, or the game server I should say. Took about 10 minutes for me. You can see here it went through the whole downloading process. After it finished downloading, it went to committing. And then, yeah, here we go. Success, app is fully installed. We have this little blinking thing here, and then we go ahead and type in quit. Now, if you don't like to type in quit every single time, you can easily just go ahead and put that plus quit at the end of the command line right here. You would just type in plus quit, and it would auto close as soon as it finished doing its thing. Again, I leave it out for my own purposes of being able to troubleshoot sometimes, because I've had issues in the past with ARC itself when I go to update and not updating properly, or not saying the correct proper version that I would expect, and it just kind of helps you troubleshoot, I believe. So now that we've got that in here, we'll go ahead and open up the PixARK server. You can see we have more than just the Steam apps folder anymore, or sorry, the Steamcmd folder. We now have the engine, we got ShooterGame and Steam apps. We'll go ahead and ShooterGame, and then content, I believe. No, but this is where, I mean, if you had mods, you'd place them in here. Let's go back. Here, we want to go binaries, Win64, and there we go. This is the executable to start your server if you were just to click on that without setting any settings. But we don't really want to do that. We're going to go ahead and do a right click here, create another bat file. We'll do a new text document, start PixARK Server, and then you want to go ahead and delete the delete the .txt and replace it with .bat. Yes, yeah, we know we're changing it. So then we have that. Go ahead and do again. Right click on it. I opened it up in Notepad++, and then this is the command I'm gonna replace, and I should go ahead and we'll have to go through and update it. So we'll walk through that real quick. So anyways, this is all you really need. And I'll post this whole command line in the description as well. But you'll have start again. Now double quotes here is unnecessary if you're running a single instance. If you're running multiple, you can type something in here. So PixARK Server, and then we'll say number 1. So if you're running multiple servers, you could change this up. Really, all this is for the command window when you start the game up. So we have /normal and then space, and then in quotes we have the directory. Obviously, I have to fix this directory because the server name is not PixARK. It's PixARK Servers, and I guess I can go ahead and fix this now while I'm talking. Now let's go over here. Server. All right, so PixARK Server, ShooterGames, Binaries, Win64, and then the executable. This is what we want to run, but we have to put in the parameters with it as well. The basic parameters that you're going to need to have is CubeWorld _light $listen $MaxPlayers equals. Now you can set this to whatever you want. I have it set to 10. Thanks. Let's see here. Go a little bit bigger here. Hopefully a little bit easier. And there we go. All right. So MaxPlayers 10. Then you have your default port. This is 27015. This is default for the game and actually a lot of other games. You can change this if you want. You just need to make sure that when you forward your ports that you port forward the correct ports to whatever you're throwing in here. So if you're using like the port checker or anything like that, or on your router, make sure that these ports are open. Port is your basic one. The QueryPort is 27016 and RCONPort is 27017. So those are the 3 primary ones, and there's actually a 4th port all the way here. It's at the end of the command here. CubePort 14999. So I'll mention that here again later. But there's 4 ports that you're gonna have to have. Make sure that you have open to be able to successfully join a game or your server and have other people be able to join it as well. All right. So the next part here, SessionName equals all right. Now I have my server name. Video, we'll change it to what I want, so just call this video testing Strados. So hopefully that should stand out pretty good for us. And then actually, you know what, I'm not sure if we can have spaces in there or not, but oops, wrong button. Just in case, we'll take the space out. So VideoTestingSTRADOS, ServerAdminPassword right now is set to 1234. You want to change this to whatever you want. Make sure it's a pretty tough password. You don't want some random person joining your server and messing with your settings in game. Again, that's the admin password for the server itself, not the actual maybe a password for login. If you want to restrict this to say make sure that you only have a few friends join and you don't want some random person coming into your server, you would want to put a different setting on there, and I will show you that later. So after you set your server password, your admin password, you want to do a slash there of sorry, not slash, dash NoBattlEye, because apparently that's been messing some people up. And then again for or the dash nosteamclient, and then dash game server log, and then QueryPort. Again, the QueryPort is for the game, and I'm not sure why this is different from a few other games, but they require this to be in there, and it definitely makes things easier. That's another one thing you want to do is make sure that this port is open. Otherwise, because with these three, people will be able to join your game, they'll get to the character creation screen, and if this last one isn't open, when they go to say spawn in, it'll sit there and just do an endless loading screen. So we'll talk about that again a little bit later. So I think we got this all fixed. We got the name, we've got the nosteamclient or the password set, the ports are open. We've got that PixARK Server ShooterGame. All right. So we'll just do a Control A and a copy, and then this is the file that we just created. It's a .bat. Go ahead and we'll post that in there, or paste it in there, sorry, and then save it. So everything is in there now, and you don't need, since we let me open this back up, because we path this out all the way to the executable. You don't need to place this in this directory. You can actually place that on your desktop if you want, or you can make the path that you typed in for this executable shorter, because since the exe is already in there with it, you don't need to fully path it out. I like to fully path it out just in case. I like to keep my executables on the desktop to where they're easy to run, so I don't have to dig in every time. You could, create a link and just do a copy of it, but if for some reason you want to go and clear out your server, maybe there's a corruption somewhere in the server, you don't know where, you just want to go ahead and wipe everything, putting this somewhere else like on the desktop, and keeping that all fully pathed out, because really the only thing that's going to change, let me open this back up, is this this part here, this PixARK server. This one, well, it highlighted both because they're both whatever, but this, for wherever you start, or you download the server to, that's where this is going to be. The rest of this, the ShooterGame, Binaries, Win64, that should always be the same, when you're running it on Windows. So placing it on your desktop, and if you were to wipe the server, you would still have all the settings and everything else set. And after you re-download the server, you could just easily click on that without having to recreate this server.bat. So now that we've got that done, all you need now left to do is make sure you got the ports open. You can use I have a port forward application on my on this server here that I use, and then make sure the ports are open. Go ahead and run it, and then you'll start seeing this. So the logs will start populating, or sorry, the window will start populating. That first part that was unnecessary, the PixARK server number 1, this is all that changed, is right there. All I did was put a title on this window here. So if you were running multiple servers on the same thing, and you want to have, say, server 2, you could have that running in a command window over here and one, and then you could be able to separate it by placing in that first double quotes. So server's booting up now. You're going to see a lot of errors, warnings, stuff like this. Ooh, look at that. Allow access. So it's going to go through and start generating the world. You don't want to mess with this. Don't, it looks scary. Just let it do its thing, and it probably will take a little bit. So once it's done, I will be back and kind of show you what to look for when it's finished. So the server is now up and running. I did have some issues with it. I'll go ahead and just kind of mention that. But my ports weren't open correctly, and after playing around with it, finally got them reopened, and everything's all hunky-dory now. But anyways, so when you start up your server, you'll see a bunch of commands come up. This is one you'll see that pops up that kind of lets you know that it's just about finished, or about halfway there or whatever. You'll see full startup. You'll see the amount of time it takes you, the command that was entered in, and then, of course, I've had it sitting here for a little bit. Oop, there we go. Once it's actually done, you'll start seeing these things in here, these log on lines, async tasks. Basically, it's saving the world, or your server, and session name, VideoTestingSTRADOS is the name of the server here, and then what version it is on, which is 1.1, and then so you can see it's completing here. These are the saves. So with that, now we'll go to the in-game menu. Alright, so we've got the game up and loaded. This is on my local PC, and we'll go ahead and join PixARK. So once you get in here, you want to make sure that you have, if you put a password on it, you want to make sure you have the show password protected selected. This isn't your admin password. This is literally just for the server password for the server. As you can see, all these right here currently are secured. You would need a password to access them. And then you can also see the build. So a lot of these looks like they still need to be updated. There's a 1.6, 1.5, 1.8, but our server is on a 1.10. So up here at the top, you want to go ahead and filter on that. Oh wait, before we do that, down here at the bottom, I have unofficial already selected. By default, I'm not sure if that is or not. So you may have to change it from official to unofficial servers. Then you also have a few of these other ones. But so we got unofficial selected. We'll go up here and type in video, and then let it do its searching. Now we should see the name that I created, which is VideoTestingSTRADOS, and give that a second here to pop in. Okay, so notice that you have to uncheck show password protected because it did not have the password protected on. I'm not sure why that took it so long, but I guess maybe it's just for searching purposes it was causing an issue. But anyways, here's the server. So go ahead and click on it, click join, and it'll start to go ahead and boot up the server. Or well, connect to the server, not boot it up, sorry. Okay, so now that it's loading up now, we can see that we're getting into the server. It's going through this little video thing showing people building this nice little fort. We should get into the character creation screen here in a minute. So yep, here we go. So we're in. As you can see, we got the rally points that we can choose from to spawn into. You have your just little map that shows you which they are, and then you've got I got a preset here I can go ahead and load in. There's also a few different options. It tells you here, not options, but it tells you the dangerous levels of the different color codes for the territories. So the high, the brown and black being the most dangerous, whereas as you go down, the light greens are probably the safest areas to spawn into, and then of course that last one is water. So we'll go ahead here and looks like there's a brown spot there that could be dangerous, but we'll go ahead and change the name, and yeah, so we'll go ahead and spawn in. Now if you do have an issue where you didn't open up the last QueryPort, which I have set to 14999, you will freeze right there. You'll get an endless loading screen and you won't actually get to this point where you actually kind of balloon in. So yeah, that's it, and hopefully you guys liked the video and it helped you out. Alright, so now that your server's created, we're going to go back and change a few settings and maybe put a password on your server to block out any random people from joining. So before you do that, you're going to want to stop your server. You can easily do that by selecting the window and doing a Control-C, or you can hit the X, but I recommend using a Control-C. Okay, to get to your INI files to change some server settings, you'll go to the main file, PixARK Server, you'll go to ShooterGame, you'll go to Saved, and then to Config, Windows Server, and then here are your INI files that you'll be changing. You really only need to edit 2 at the most, and that would be Game User Settings and Game INI. So those are the 2 that if you really ever, the other majority of these you won't even need to change. But we'll go ahead and go edit with Notepad because that's my preference. And then in here you have a list of all the server settings. So you have up here at the top the server settings that we've kind of set through the command line, and these will change when we every time if you were to change like the server password or the admin password, that 1 2 3 4 up there will change. And then you have a couple of the other things like the multiplayer, the kick idle period, and a few other things like that. And then of course you have these settings down here, which most of these you probably won't need to worry about unless you're really kind of getting into changing stuff on the INI file. But the ones up here we want to look at, the autosaver period minutes, that by default is set to 15. I will change mine to every 60 minutes just because I don't want it saving constantly every 15 minutes. I know that sometimes it can cause a little bit of a lag issue. So anyways, we have allow hit markers true, and a couple of these other ones are all fine. These are all default for right now. Don't really, since I'm still getting into the game, I'm not going to change any of these other settings. Okay, with that, you want to go ahead and I've already got this kind of pasted, but I'll go ahead and paste it in here. You want to type in ServerPassword equals and then whatever you want to put the password. So right now I have it set to 123, which is currently the same as the 1234, which is the same as the admin password. You don't want to keep these the same things. So we'll we'll call this 4321. So I'm going to send it to the server. To get into the server, you'll have to type in 4321 as it gets prompted. Okay, so if you don't want to mess with your INI file and still want to add a server password, you can just simply add it here, and that's, oops, if I can spell it right, server password equals 4321. There we go. And then, and I believe that is it. Yes. There's also a bunch of other settings you can change. I don't currently have those with me offhand, but you can easily look those up. There's a couple other places that have it documented. I can post another link that I have for a guide if you're looking for a text version rather than the video. Anyways, that's how you get to your INI file, and that's how you set the password for your server. Just to make sure, and it was an issue that I had, is make sure that your ports are open correctly. If you're using the default ports, make sure it's, there we go. This highlights it a little bit better for me. But your default ports 27015, 2716, 17, and then if it would go all the way to the end there, CubePort 14999. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys get your ports open correctly. I know we all have some different devices, but if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll answer them the best I can. I'm Strados, and this is your step-by-step guide for standing up PixARK Server.